This is the poster. That's really what should have been in our GPs for the last 15 years. If it was, we'd have been all right. In 1999, when the World Health launched the death certification disease superbug look-back classification, it ordered every health service to bring up all their blood transfusion patients and warn them. Tragically, that never happened here. It's a brilliant campaign. That campaign was translated into 120 languages within about 6 months. Kits and venues. The test kit industry, cost-effective in the extreme. They cost $9.99, and then if you're positive, there's 40 quid more counselling. You cannot get a diagnosis without counselling. There are venues which haven't been used. Tattoo parlours, chemists, very useful. There's currently an interesting look with Sam Goddick for the body shop. So testing sites and testing kits.
Can I ask about the global tattoo warning?
Yeah, in 1999 there was a study in St Paul, Minnesota, there was a study in France, a study in Australia. All three were about tattoos. All three found that tattoos have one main problem: cross-contamination. When a doctor's busy chopping someone up, there's someone next to him and he goes swab, he goes blood, he doesn't do the wiping. Now, a tattooist will basically tattoo you, wipe, tattoo, wipe, tattoo. All this is now covered with infectious subparticles.
So no GP would say, I see you've got tattoos.
No. So tattooists, they never got this advice about cross-contamination, correct sterilisation. When we train a dentist, he's trained in these things. He's got water to take products away, he's got air to blow products away. If you want to know about tattooists, ring the tattooist, say, when did you have your test and when did you last test your staff? I never do that. He's not able to save his life, he's certainly not able to protect yours. We've lost a whole generation to this. There's 25,000 people out there with tattoo and Hep C now, minimum. What I wanted to talk about here also is the way in which America is seeing the future. They know the amount of liver cancer and cirrhosis that's coming. Now America's looking at a cost of 50-some billions. We currently budget, I think it's 1.5 million for FACEIT.
Are we talking about the same deadly epidemic?
There's not even a get tested on this. Over here, the key to the entire failure is written very smallly. The Department of Health will work with other people to campaign that is non-alarmist, non-stigmatising, targeting affected groups. The affected group isn't patients. Non-alarm, how can you have a non-alarm about hundreds of thousands of people with a carcinogenic virus?
This is alarming. We need a massive bell ringing. We need millions of people screening themselves to save their lives.
And we have them written there, black and white, non-alarm. I haven't gone enough into the superbug disease classification, but my point about it is that when you call this bug a superbug, I guarantee it will get at least 20 times the funding.
We just have to call it what it is.
If it's a superbug, they have to look back to all 300,000 patients with healthcare Hep C and find them. That's the edict. The responsibility is not the patient to come forward. The responsibility is the infector to find the infected. It's not a sex disease. Very important. Thank God for the Australians, because they've asked every patient every risk they might have run. They found that the 5% cohabitants that are infected 3% of them have a different genotype, and then 1.5% history of domestic violence. You need to tell people with Hep C, you're not infectious, just your blood's infectious. And if you know about blood hygiene, you're alright. This is another thing we're chronically lacking in nationwide awareness of blood hygiene. We know used condoms are terribly infectious. We haven't realised blood's more infectious. We've got to get up to speed. We've learned about safe sex. And if it doesn't start in school, we'll never get it into our heads. All over our country we have occupations that are high risk. In America it's known that all the emergency services double the Hep C. All the nurses are triple the Hep C of the national average. And there are many, many industries like this. Our tattooists, our beauticians, our contact sportsmen. It's funny, the IBF is one of the few places where they know exactly how often fights give you Hep C. It's about 10 rounds. And the health staff need regular screening. I'm sorry, you know, there are thousands of nurses carrying infections that are too frightened to talk about. This is Tunbridge Health and Safety Document 2008. It says 15 to 20 years after infection, you may develop cirrhosis or liver failure. That's 1 in 300. Every health and safety council in England is saying hepatitis is 1 in 300 dangerous. It's 1 in 10 dangerous. They're training our first aiders in schools, they're training even nurses, and these documents are still there. The doctors warn of 8 billion Hep crisis. It's interesting. In America we know it's the government warning the people of the Hep crisis. Here we have the doctors trying to tell the government. What we need is a campaign rolls across the whole country. Stop, caution, get tested with every single risk. One poster, which is to catch all, and it is very, very important that it gives you every message, every risk. Then the epidemic map for schools, which also is very destigmatising. Then the test kit. We have a tidal wave of testing, or a tidal wave of end-stage liver disease. And one is an awful lot cheaper and healthier. And we are proving to be the worst in the Western world of it. It's an average of 1 test in England for every 10 tests in Europe. France tests more people in a year than we test in 10. California tests more people in a year than we test in 10. We are all going to die more from this epidemic unless we do something. And we need to do that really right now. It's critical now.